Yes, I live in a house, not too big, but not too small. It's a medium-sized house. It has two bedrooms, one for my children and one for myself and my spouse. And there's a living room where we sit and play games, play cards, and watch television and talk, and have good time with family and friends. And there's a kitchen where we prepare food. We prepare all kinds of food in our house, so we don't have to go outside to eat. Although we love to eat outside, but we love cooking in our house. Well, that's a very difficult question because this is my house and I love all the rooms, but my favorite room is the kitchen. Well, like I told you, I love cooking and we love cooking and making food in our house. So I love the kitchen because uh, when I'm in there, I feel like I'm at home preparing food, all kinds of food that I can prepare, and I love it so much because it's spacious. It makes me feel uh, more at home when I am in the kitchen preparing food for my family, uh, making breakfast sometimes or dinner at times when I am late in the evening. So I love the kitchen most, although there are other rooms that I love, like my bedroom where I sleep, but I love the kitchen most. My kitchen is not that small. Like I said, my house is a medium-sized house, so it's squeezed. I would have loved a very big kitchen. However, due to the size, I have made drawers to fit the space so that I have everything I need whenever I want. I have a fireplace uh, where I can light up the the fire and the car and the stove and everything else in my room. In the kitchen is organized. I put spices in different places, different spices, because I don't want to mix spices that other family members don't like hot pepper, because sometimes I can be forgetful, I can mix spices with food that children don't like. So I put spices in different places and I mark the spices that I like and the one that my children like, so that I do not mix them when I am doing my cooking. I have water, running water in the kitchen, so I do not have to go outside to fetch water and come into the kitchen to do my cooking. I do washing also in my kitchen. I have a fire extinguisher. This is a um safety equipment so that it can prevent fires in the kitchen. If I could improve something in my house, it would be the living room. I would make it larger and to fit large couches and to fit cabinets with huge television set, and also I could also change the direction of the windows because I love to watch sunset in the evening, because my living room does not face the sunset area. So when there's a sunset, I do not enjoy the sunset when I'm inside my room, my living room. I have to go outside to watch the sunset. So if there is anything I'll have to change, particularly it is in the living room. Although I will have to change many things in my room because as I said, it's a medium-sized room, medium-sized house. I could have a larger one, but more specifically, I would have loved to change the size of my living room, be larger to accommodate many things, to accommodate the sunset view that I love, and also to accommodate many people when they come visiting. That will be so grateful when I do that. Well, that's a very interesting question. It's also very tricky because I love a lot of films. I enjoy watching films. I always watch them at my home. Sometimes I go outside to cinemas to watch films with my friends. I can take my family members sometimes. Uh, at times we watch thrillers. Those those are the films that we like. And one particular movies are the ones that have science fiction in them. I love science fiction because they explain more about uh, something which is closer to reality and closer to what is happening in our planet. So I love films with science fiction. I love thrillers. Sometimes I love comedy films, and also I love reality shows. I enjoy them the most. When I go outside to watch films, I watch them with taking a drink, and it makes me enjoy them and have fun watching them. As I said, I love thrillers with action. I love action movies with science fiction and also with a lot of action in them. I don't love reality-based movies, though. Okay, I find them boring. Although action movies, although I know it's acted in it's in a fictional way, it they're very captivating, thrilling, and I love to watch them the most. That's really interesting because I didn't I didn't not I did not watch TV much as a child because we had one particular television which was black and white during that time, and it was only turned on during news times, which was 7 o'clock in the evening. So we didn't have, or myself, I didn't have much time on TV in my childhood. If it was now, I would have loved to watch TV as a child, to watch more of cartoons, more Disneyland films like Children of the Day do. That's unfortunate because I did not do that during my childhood. Well, that is interesting because we watch a lot of English movies, American movies. We also have Chinese language movies translated in English subtitles, and they are always enjoyable. Well, that is very interesting because it depends on who is visiting. If it's a person that I know or a relative of mine, I hug them. If it is a stranger, I have to ask, hi, good afternoon, good evening. If it's a friend or someone that I know, I greet them by a handshake, and that's how I greet people when they come to my house. I love hugging friends and relatives and and children when they come to my house. It makes me it's a culture that I've had as a child. When my parents received visitors who are relatives, they could hug them, they could kiss them on their foreheads, and that's as a tradition in our hometown. It depends, as I said, it depends on who is visiting my house. If it's a friend, I give a handshake. If it's a relative, I, the people I know the most, I can give them a hug and so forth. Well, that's very difficult question because you said a stranger and an old friend. Well, for a stranger, I'll I greet the stranger by verbally or through a handshake. But for an old friend, I can hug because we are meeting for the second time or for the first time in a long time, in a long period of time. So it's different for a stranger and a old friend. Well, this is a very interesting question because I meet people every day in a place of work, in shopping malls, in church. I also meet people in the marketplaces and also when while traveling because I don't have a car, I use commuter train. So I meet people in a day-to-day basis, and that's many different ways of meeting people that I have. Like as I said, I can meet them while traveling. I meet them while in church. I can meet them while in the marketplaces. I can meet them in a school while taking my children to school. I can meet them in many different places. There are a lot of many places that I can meet people. Yes, in my opinion, first impression is very important because it 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 marks out how you will interact with the person you've met for the first time. So first impressions always tells you how the person is, how to interact with the person. If you are going to avoid that person, or if you are going to get more intimate with the person, or it can tell you if you're going to reveal more of yourself to that person or not. So I believe and I think very strongly that first impression is very important while meeting the people or a person in the first place. The video and record your answer. The most recent holiday that I went was in a campsite in Lake Lamentaita. I went there with my family and my children. I went there. It's along the Rift Valley. in Kenya. It's a place with hot springs and salt water and very hot and a very harsh environment. What we did there was we enjoy the holiday through fishing. We did fishing at the lakeside. We did fires. We made fires at the campsite where we were. We often use binoculars to watch animals from far because we stayed far away from where animals are, and it was very enjoyable moment. We also had to climb a cliff with my my with my children. We could also do racing, not racing by a car, but but running on the field, trying to see who is faster than who. We did also swimming in a nearby pools, not in the lake, and that was very entertaining. Well, if I had a chance to travel to a particular destination in the world, it would be in Mount Everest. It's because I love mountains, I love cold weather, and I have heard that in Mount Everest is an a very extreme cold weather. Although in my home country there is certain seasons where the weather is very cold, I'd love to go hiking and mountain climbing in Mount Everest. I've heard stories of people climbing Mount Everest. I've tried to climb mountains in my local country. I've been successful to reach the peak, and I would love to try to climb Mount Everest because it is the tallest mountain in the world. Traveling is a great thing to do. It makes us experience fun, but I think the reason people like to travel alone is because they want to have their own time with themselves. Most people would love to have privacy. They don't want to be followed around by people. They want to do their things alone. And that's why people love to travel alone. Some people love to travel alone because it it makes them it makes the travel convenient. Unlike traveling with a large group of people, which could be expensive, time well, when you talk about time, it's difficult to plan to travel with a very large number of people than to travel alone. You can make your decisions alone, unlike making decision in a group, which sometimes can be very difficult. So that's what, in my opinion, is why people love to travel alone. Yes, in my opinion, travel has changed greatly in the last decade. This is because the means of transport has changed. In the last decade, the cars were slower than today's. Um, the road network is well connected. You can have highways, you can have link roads, which can be more of it can be more important when traveling. So that has changed traveling. Another thing that has changed traveling is air travel. People gone have changed their traveling their traveling methods from road to air and trains as well. And that's how travel has changed from the last decade. Well, travel or traveling change people immensely, because while traveling you go to different destinations, you meet different people, you experience different environments, cultures, different civilizations. You when you come back to your own home country, you can change yourself. So traveling changes people in many different ways. But I think the most part that changes people is the social background of the destination you went. That changes people a lot, because you might become assimilated to a certain travel destination, which is very interesting. Modern traveling, in my opinion, I don't think there is disadvantages in modern travel. This is because modern travel offers ample opportunities. It's fast. It's the world has become more secure. Certain travel destinations are secure. So modern travel as not is still good than the previous one, and that's why I strongly agree that modern travel is actually the best